If you followed the stream this past week, you know I've been building my Top Step Combine account to try to hit over $3,000 in profit. This past week I broke the $1,000 level using a really great scalping trading system with futures. And so make sure to hit the subscribe button and stick around because this sample size was pretty large and the results were extremely promising. What's up team, it's John with BT and we're back today so you can improve your trading game. Like I said in the intro, in today's video we're looking at the system I use to achieve these results. There's a lot of different working parts to it, but it had a pretty big sample size of my trading this past week, and the larger the sample, the more confidence and overall validity I'll have in the system itself, and so I'm really excited to get started. Before we take a look at the system though, if you want to help support the channel, you can hit the like and subscribe below, and you can also go check out the Top Step trading programs as well. They're really cheap programs that allow traders to try to get funded as prop traders with an 80% profit split. And if you want to check it out, it's a great way, like I said, to help support our channel. I'll include a link in the description. Let's take a look at the actual system I use to achieve these results. In today's video, we're looking at my scalping system, the same one that I used to build my Top Step Trader Combine account, and it's really one of the most profitable systems I've had in the market in the last few years. Now, with scalping more than any other type of trading or style, really magnifies whether it's actually a winning or losing system. Because if you think about it, the sheer number of trades you're actually getting into as a scalper will usually make it really clear the reality behind your trading and whether you're a winning or losing scalper. The strategies are super important, but there's also a lot of other things that you really need to focus on, like level 2 and stuff like that. And so it's not just looking at these specific strategies and patterns, and that's something else that we're going to try to talk about in this video so you can really understand how you can be a successful scalper and how you could possibly recreate these type of results with it. The first thing you really want to understand about this system is that we are mainly using the VWAP to determine a nice intraday trend to attack. This part and this step is super crucial because a lot of the time the SPY in the overall market won't follow a specific trend, and if that's the case you really need to try to avoid that market unless you're trading another strategy that is not included here, because these strategies specifically are not going to work the best if the market is choppy and the SPY or the E-mini is crossing over and under the VWAP. That's usually a pretty bad market to attack, and so for that you're gonna have some discipline that you need to implement with this type of scalping system. And so as we start to look for a specific trend in the market, I'm usually watching the SPY, but you can obviously just watch the E-mini if you want to keep it simple. But what we're looking for is an obvious trend relative to the VWAP. If a stock is maintaining above the VWAP really nicely and you can see it honestly going in an obvious self-evident direction, then we know it's maintaining an upward trend and we can attack that range in between that and the previous highs of the day, as well as the momentum as it breaks those previous high of the days sometimes. And if the stock is maintaining below the VWAP, it's really confirming the VWAP and respecting that level, maintaining below it, breaking lows, so forth and so on, then we know it's in a downward trend, and that's where we're going to attack shorts. Now, I'm not saying that you can't short the market if it's above the VWAP or long the market if it's below it, but those are reversal plays, and that's not what I'm doing here with my scalping system. What I'm doing is looking for a specific range and then attacking the momentum inside that range, or sometimes when it actually breaks that range. That's really what my scalping system revolves around, and so those are going to be mostly what the strategies are about. And so with all of that said and understood, let's look at a few live on-demand examples so you can kind of see what I do with this system in action. Okay, so first things first with this trading system, you need the market to be maintaining a specific trend. It has to be respecting the VWAP sum and maintaining either an upward or a downward trend. If the SPY or S&P 500 or the E-mini are crossing over and under the VWAP in a choppy, neutral way, you have to avoid trading it. That's not the ideal time to trade it. You're not going to have favorable results, and you really want to look to attack a very specific trend when watching the SPY or the E-mini itself. Something else that I'll add that I rarely do with this system is watch the E-mini itself. I'm almost always watching the SPY because if you look at the E-mini, it's very neutral and choppy looking, and that's mostly because pre-market data is not taken into account. And so with this system, I'm really watching the pre-market action and moves, and so when I'm determining where this momentum is, I'm instead looking at the SPY This has a much cleaner chart and allows me to analyze the pre-market data as well, so understand that moving forward. Okay, so like I said in the previous slide, the first thing we really want to identify about the market is a specific trend using the VWAP. And so we're going to look for confirmations in a specific trend in stocks either bouncing or rejecting at the VWAP. If they rejected the VWAP, we're going to consider it a short-term downward trend, and we're going to attack momentum on the downside. If it bounced at the VWAP, then we can consider it a short-term upward trend and attack momentum above the VWAP on the upward side, if that makes sense. So once the stock confirms the VWAP and then puts in a low of the day area, that's when we're going to start looking for some bounces. We could target just the low of the day break here, but a lot of the time these are just going to fake us out. And so instead what we're actually going to wait for is a bounce up to a major support or resistance level. In this case on the SPY, we can look at 347.50 and document that level, looking to short into that on the bounce on the previous low of the day. And so what we can do is document that previous low of the day. Like you can see here, we had one confirmation previously, and then we can also document a resistance level above us. I love to use half and whole dollars, especially with the SPY and E-mini. And so we can look for the stock to bounce to 347 and short into that resistance level, waiting for it with the E-mini and attacking it with 1 to 2 contracts. Once we have all our levels documented and we know where we're going to short into, the next step is waiting for it to bounce. Once the market bounces, the most important part for the entry is actually shorting into it quickly and covering fast as well. Even if the stock doesn't continue moving down in the original direction we were looking for, a lot of the time it will at least range move back and forth short term, and we're able to scalp this move to that previous low of the day level. But if we hold it too long, it will cause a losing trade and our accuracy to drop as well. The next on-demand example I want to go over is a long example, but a very similar one. And so again, we're targeting a range in between the previous high of the day in this instance and looking for some confirmations that we can long into here. And so we can look for a confirmation and find one at around 345.25. You can see we have multiple confirmations previously, and we can conclude that this is a decent support level to attack. And so once the stock tests that previous high of the day and rejects, we can then long into this level. If it breaks below this level, we can understandably get out of the trade with a stop, but if it bounces at least very short term, which it usually will, we could take a quick scalp up to that previous high of the day. As for whether you want to hold it through that push or hold on to some contracts as it makes that push towards the previous high of the day is pure preference based, but I like to scale out of most of the position and then maybe hold one contract to see if we'll get some momentum on the break of that level. Something else that honestly helps me with these type of trades is watching the level 2 and the overall price movement. You really kind of get into a flow state of watching the level 2, watch the orders build up, and then attacking these price level breaks using the level 2 itself. It's really difficult to explain kind of how you see these certain things with price movement on the level 2, but I'll hold that for another video. Anyways team, that's it for this one. Remember, you can try to get funded as a futures trader through Top Step. You get an 80% profit split once you actually are funded. It's super cheap and really highly reviewed as well. Check out the description for more info. You can also go check out Trader Mike's Discord. It's super active and has a lot of great traders there every single day like us, and I'll include that link as well. Check out our own Discord if you need to reach out to us with any questions. Good luck in the market, guys, and we'll see you all next time. Remember to protect your trading account, and we'll see you all then.